Well, happy Cob Tuesday, everybody. Hope everybody's had a good day. And it's been decent here. Cool and nippy this morning, but it warmed on up. Oh, mid 60s. Turned out to be a beautiful sunny day. And so can't complain about that. I am going to be smoking some great, awesome blend that was gifted to me by Straight Grain. Some early morning pancake from Uptown Smoke Shop in Nashville, Tennessee. This is some good stuff, y'all. And I'm smoking it in my Missouri Meerschaum Bent Patriot car. So let's get her fired up there. I'm using a Bic today. Mm-hmm. This is the first time I've smoked the early morning pancake in a cob, and I just it smokes good. I've been working on some humidity problems in one of the humidors. Got it figured out though, thank goodness, and got it back on its way to doing its thing. So, well, I had told y'all yesterday I had a little story to tell that has to deal with burglary. My dad, and so some of y'all know this, um, started out way back in the 50s and early 60s in the jukebox pinball business. He's kind of been a jack of all trades and evolved into building, contracting, building the Stuckey stores across the highways and um, wound up in the Texaco business, and then from the service station evolved into what he's doing today. Still at 77 years old, he goes to work every day. He owns a tire center and just kind of scaled it back to just basically a retail operation, a little bit of wholesaling. But when the thing started, he started it in '85. Got up. He was running several route trucks in its peak. He was wholesaling tires most of the state of Arkansas, about half the state of Louisiana, 7 or 8 counties in Mississippi, and probably 7 or 8 counties in Texas. And I had the privilege of working with him for a couple of years. I've done everything from credit managing to um, had an outside route myself, and which consisted of I-20 West, basically picked up Arcadia, Minden, Shreveport, Marshall, Longview, a little north of Marshall and Longview, and down in there south of Shreveport a little bit. And that's where I ran into MA's buddy at MA's, and then was on the tire route. But when he started that thing, he started in the service station business, and back in those days, service stations sell 100, 150 tires a month, was pretty decent, pretty average. Man, he got up to selling 700, 800 tires a month. He had a big Texaco service center, and So he got to the point, several of the other Texacos around town and a couple of Shells and an Exxon or two, but he began to sell tires to them. He was buying such a higher volume, and he would mark them up a few dollars and wholesale them to them. He hired a guy, a little pickup, they'd deliver them to these stations. He had a few that he actually would put the tires in and consign them. In other words, he'd put 100 tires in. The guy would come by every Friday and count them, do an inventory on them. If there was 20 tires missing, you paid for those 20, and he replaced them, and it was no cost to the station to inventory those 100 tires. And back in the old days, that was it was a sizable investment, and it's sure enough a big one today. But so one thing it just evolved, and he built a warehouse in town and hired another salesman, and they began to spread out a little bit, and he moved his wholesale operation there. Well, about 5 years later, he finally got out of the gasoline business altogether and was concentrating strictly on the tire. But he had managed, when he bought this building, when he bought this property, it had about an 8-room old motel that was built in the back, on the back part of the property, that back in the 30s and 40s was just a whorehouse. It was just a house of ill repute. I mean, it was in the red light district, and it was vacant, so we stored tires in it. And he had 2 little buildings beside it. Both of them had about 1,500 square feet. So with the warehouse he built, it was about 7,000. Between the main building, the 2 little side buildings, and the old whorehouse behind it, probably had 14,000 square feet. Well, as time grew, he acquired another building down the road, and then another one behind him, and had all these tires in several buildings. Well, he got into the farm and 18-wheeler tire business, and most people, of course, he had fenced it in. He'd made it like a fortress. He had razor wire, had cameras, had a German Shepherd dog, and he tried everything. The burglaries were tough. But on your big wholesalers, your big tire dealers, they would always, on your 18-wheeler tires and your big rear farm tires, they would be stored outside. Because you turned them over fast enough, he would usually keep 1,000, 1,200 18-wheeler tires on hand at any time. And in the off season, probably 600 or 800 big farm tractor tires. When farming season was on, that would double. It would just be farm tires everywhere. And you would lean them up against the buildings or big iron rack type things, and you would just start row after row of truck tires, and they would be stacked or leaned based upon size, And of course, they would be outside, but they would be turned. They would be rotated over about every 5 or 6 weeks. And we'd had some little minor break-ins, but nothing serious. And the computer would tell us, okay, there's a particular size. It's say 11 or 24.5 is a popular, or was a popular 18-wheeler size tire. The computer would show in a particular tread design, say a highway tread, X whatever ply tire in a Kelly Springfield, and this 11 or 24.5, the computer would show 40 on hand. Your sales trucks were getting ready to go out that day. One sold 6, and another sold 4, and another one sold 10. You had 20 tires sold. You go out there, and the computer's showing 40, and they'd be 19. Or, maybe they would be 30. But anyway, it was visibly noticeable that, there were tires coming up missing. And this went on for 2 or 3 weeks, and there'd be 10 missing of this size, 5 of this one, 15 of this one. And those things, his cost on them was over $200 a piece back then, and now there's no telling what they are. But I mean, woke up one day and there was $18,000-$20,000 worth of tires missing. So we knew we had a problem, and we thought it was inside. So he and I began to set a trap. We would hide. He and I were the only ones that knew this was going on. We would hide out in the building at night. I would stay until midnight. I would get over there about 7, go home. I'd come home, eat, maybe take a nap. I'd get over there at 7 in the evening and stay till midnight. He would relieve me at midnight and stay till about 5. And we did this for a week or two. And one night he relieved me at midnight. I hung around there a few minutes and drank a little coffee with him. I left about 12:30. Of course, no sooner than I got home, all heck had broke loose. He was sitting in there, took a book or something to read, and he heard a pickup truck come by, and the engine was rumbling, and heard it pull up and stop. He got out, and he heard somebody walking across the driveway. Of course, the German Shepherd dog, and this was a vicious dog. He was trained in German, and he would go by German commands, and he was mean. I couldn't do anything with it. Few people could handle him. I made the mistake of picking at him when we first got him, and they never forget it. He never forgave me. He would have attacked me. He just was vicious. Well, we kept noticing this dog sometime in the morning would be limping. Didn't think nothing about it. We thought it was an inside. We thought it was a salesman, and it was all an inside job. Heard the pickup come by, heard it turn off, heard a guy walking across some gravel. So he could see him out through the cracks. It was a big black guy, about 6'4", big guy. And he had some Romex electrical wire, that white Romex wire, and he had it looped around his hand, and he had it out about 4 feet or so. And he was hitting that dog with it. The dog was trying. He was mad. He was foaming at the mouth. He wanted to get him. But he just kept beating that dog, and he beat him back. That was back in the days of the old bag cell phones. And so my dad gets on the phone. He calls the police department there. They were aware that we'd been staking out and staying around there at night, and they would give extra patrol. They said, okay, stay on the phone with us. What we're doing, we've got several units in the area. We're going to surround the block quietly. Let him come on in and keep doing his thing. We're going to quietly surround the area. And we want to get him while he's in the building. Well, about that time, the battery pack fell out of the cell phone, out of the bag phone. Well, the police department lady there on the phone thought that the guy had came in on him. And of course, Daddy said all I could hear was 4 barrels kicking in from every direction. He said engines were roaring, and here they come. Well, it scared this guy, and he took off running. He got up on top of the old whorehouse, and he laid down. Well, here they come in, and they brought my Daddy. They told him to put his dog up, and of course he had called me. I got over there after the excitement. Well, it was certainly already died down. And so he got his dog up, and he was mad, foaming at the mouth. They brought their dog in. Well, he ran, and he started sniffing, and he got to right at the edge of the motel building, the whorehouse, and he started doing his nose, his head up and down, and they said he's up on top of that roof. Well, sure enough, they went up after him, got him down, and I want you to know, he had rolled several tires to the fence. He was a big guy, could lug them truck tires over. He had about 6 lined up there. He was fishing, and he was still working on some more when all heck broke loose with the cars. They arrested him for burglary, got to court, 30 days, got in jail. He stayed in jail 30 days till he went to court. The judge said, well, he didn't throw anything across the fence. The only thing we can charge him with is attempted burglary. Give him a $200 fine, credit for time served. He got out. This guy had been arrested 39 times in his life. They said because he didn't get anything across the fence. And we had lost a little over $30,000 in 18-wheeler tires. What he was doing was go around selling for $50 to whoever. Well, they caught him about 3 months after he got out, breaking in another truck tire center. This time they caught him with the goods, and they hammered him. They got him for habitual offender, and I think he got 20 years. But, justice system, we called it attempted. Restitution was never made. But that was an interesting story, just, I thought. And it just one of the old stories. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm going to wrap this one up. We're at 15 minutes. I've got some more little stories I'll tell one day. Y'all enjoy Cob Tuesday. I've enjoyed this early morning pancake with y'all. I'm fixing to finish it up. Download this, watch a few videos, and hit the hay. Thank y'all for watching, and God bless.